Alright. Hello everyone, this is Emperor Haterius, and this is Pathfinder Kingmaker on the PS4. We are in our stages of kingdom building. I left off... Well, I didn't leave off, the game crashed on me, but I was last uh, building up my initial settlement and dealing with events and just kind of getting used to the different menu system that we have for this, because it's different on console than computer. So here we are in the glorious Haterian Empire, and I was trying to build up my capital, trying to figure out what my layout was going to be in the initial setting. So we need a longhouse in the middle. Let's see. Let's look what they do. Longhouse, spacious building for holding meetings and discussions. This is essentially a big meeting place. Gives +1 community, +1 divine, +1 culture. It upgrades later, and this is an important building that gives you bonuses when other buildings are adjacent to it. So we're going to put that in the center. Get that started building. We have build points we have to contend with too, so that's something we have to keep in mind. So we have 400 build points left. We also use build points for events. I get, like I've said before, I want nothing to do with breweries. Barracks. Okay, so let's look at what we got again. I'm a lawful evil character, so I have a few more options. We need our wall. I built a watchtower instead of a windmill, so we have more military. Actually, it's more espionage, because we keep watching what's going on. So, watchtower. Let's see, we have stocks, which give +1 to stability. Put local criminals on display and give the townsfolk a chance to mock them. It also gives a +1 bonus for solving problems in the region, which is huge. Any bonus to solving problems is great. That means less reloads for me. And as I've told you guys before in previous episodes, I'm gonna spam the saves. I'm gonna save scum it, because, you know, why not? It's my playthrough. I'm gonna do it. Like the big drama of the game here is that, well, we definitely need peers for that economy. The big drama, obviously, is the story. I've not played very far into this game at all. In any copy that I have, any game that I've attempted to run, because it's such a slug to get through the beginning part of the game. It kind of puts me off wanting to continually make characters and stuff like that. Although I do have some cool ideas, like I said before. Such as... One moment. Such as the Dwarven Phalanx party. Like just a Phalanx party. That'd be an awesome build. Probably going to get nuked by mages and whatnot, but like, it'd be a heavily armored Dwarven Phalanx party. That'd be awesome. Again, the callback on that inspiration is the Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies movie or whatever, where you get the Phalanx dwarfs, whichever is the proper. It's not really a proper. It's based on your fantasy. Okay, so we have bulletin board. I definitely want to get that. It gives a +2 bonus to resolving problems. So if I get a bulletin board and a stonks, uh, I get a +1 military from the bulletin board because you get adventurers and you've got people having problems that the military and adventurers can deal with. You know, the usual trope. And barracks is the surefire way to have military. And you also get stability when it's adjacent to a longhouse. Longhouse. See, what I was confused about earlier was whether or not I should have an herbalist house. And I actually have a free shrine I can get through an event. That's the other thing. So what I'm going to do. Oh yeah, monument is the other thing. Monument gives +1 community, +1 loyalty, and it affects a temple or shrine. So it has to be one of those outer corners because the shrine / temples get adjacency bonuses to Longhouse. So we're going to, once I stop screwing around, let's get one barracks built. Adjacency bonus. Let's go ahead and put a monument up front corner. One monument, one barracks. We need a bulletin board. I don't want to do lumberyard because I know there's stuff later that are the opposite of that, which I would go for instead. Shop is important so you can get +1 economy. I'm not going to build a tavern. And it affects a smithy. So shop beside a smithy. Smithy gives you +1 military and +1 economy when adjacent to a shop. So I think I'm going to have this adjacent to the barracks in the back right corner. So let's get a smithy. So we have stocks. Yeah, I can't even afford to have a... Can't afford to have a herbalist shop at the moment because I want to have stocks. I want to have the bulletin board. I'm going to have a shrine and I want to have a shop. So let's get that shop set up, which only affects the forge and foundry, which there's no way to avoid it. I'm going to have adjacency issues with the smithy and shop. Yeah, the smithy only needs to be adjacent to a shop. So when I have more open space, when the town gets upgraded later, I could have those off to the side, where they're not taking up the town hall or longhouse adjacency issues. That should be any. Oh, great! I should probably have paused any of my downloads while I'm streaming, So I get a free shrine. Yeah. Looks like it's just going to be bulletin board, barracks. I'm going to have 2 barracks. Just do it. I'm going to have a big military. Bulletin board. Put you right in between. Actually, does that have any adjacencies? Resolving problems in this region. No. Let's put the bulletin board in between the shop and where the shrine's going to go. And then we're going to have the stocks in between the barracks. There we go. So that's a pretty good setup for military. I have 120 BP left. Alright. And I need to save before it crashes again. Because for some reason switching back and forth between those pages crashes it. I mean, not that it's a huge thing. Like, not that it happens constantly. It's just it happened to me when I was playing. So that I already know. So we have built, or at least we've started building, which will take 5 to 10 days. Looks like 5 to 14 days. So 2 weeks to get everything built. And I still don't have a shrine available yet. So let's do a save. Let's not save over our offline game, which is where I screw around. Is it gonna let me do anything? I'll just save it as is.
I require rest.
Apparently I require rest. I require rest. Who do we have here? We do not have a treasurer. Oh yeah, that's what I was noticing is it's screwing up now. God, everyone sucks at this. Pandemona is probably the best. But that finishes a quest, or at least it continues a quest. Unlock a new leader post. I have a feeling that just 5 leaders won't make a real council. So we have the ability to claim the outskirts area. Nice cold drink. Is Vanki's offer. That is the high priest we met at the meeting. And he wants to build a shrine of Erastil, the stag god, which is the green community god, nature god, which overall is the closest I can get to my goddess that is canonically part of my empire. Actually, Gosri is a pretty good one too. I don't think there's a Temple of Gosri in this though, because I think I looked it up last stream. One moment, please. Yeah. So if we can get our treasurer, Pandemona, to get on this, since she's not doing anything. Get a free building. 7 days. 7 days to die. Yeah, she's just a temporary, treasurer until I get somebody better. She's more suited to combat. Unknown troublemakers are spurring the people to rebel against their ruler. Grumblings of popular discontent can be heard in the capital. Advisors should either answer to the rebel rousers or nip the rebellion in the bud. I kind of want to see what Manias can do. Want him to march in and deal with that rebel. And then, what other projects we got going on? I haven't started him on that. It's 21 days for the Enchanted Wind. Oh, he's gonna be occupied. This is the thing that I hate. You start a quest with the character, and then they can't do anything, while something else that pops up that's possibly limited deals with it. What are my what are our options here? Our journal. We got to go speak with Nettle since we killed the Stag Lord. Find Casey in the capital. We got to check out the hill. We got to go back to Old Sycamore and deal with those things, but we didn't want to do that just yet. All right, so we have outskirts to claim. That's how you do it. You press square on it. Change. Did it do it? Okay. Let's claim the outskirts.
I require rest.
Why? Alright. Let's have Valerie, our noble and elegant regent, claim the outskirts for the glorious Haterian Empire. I need 150 BP. Let's get some more. So we need 30 BP. $14 days. Your barony has expanded. It now includes the outskirts. One of your barony stats has reached 20 points. It's time for you to increase its rank. First, meet with your advisor and discuss the future of the state. Oh, disaster! That's what I hate. That's what I hate. I hate having disasters. Or any failure. I want triumphs. That's the best. You have success, and then you have triumph, which is the best outcome. And because it's kind of an RNG, with dice rolls in the game's files, you can reload it. Let's try this again. Of course, I gotta... spend that money again. Start the claim. So we're still stable, so that's good. Barony has expanded. Failure. Oh, I see a trend. Come on, Manias. Killing me, man. Should have just put Valerie on it, but... I don't want to turn the tutorials off either, which are kind of getting in the way, because I've not gone so far into the game where I've seen the other tutorials when certain stuff happens, you know? And the way this goes, I can't claim the output, like the claim anything without it taking up my time. I have to be part of this. I have to be part of this mission. Like, I want to go do something else, but it forces me to wait because I'm part of this. Triumph, awesome. Our guards and soldiers managed to capture the instigators before the region descended into full rebellion. Awesome. Military +3. How did everything else go? Success with Esvanki's offer. How's our other projects going? We have a... Okay, nothing else is pressing. We can build another settlement now that we have another area. So, now that we had a triumph, the thing about this is I can't save so many times either. It's gonna fill up my system. I don't want to have so many saves like in between each thing, but we own the outskirts now. We have a lot more at stake. Our project has 7 more days for the Enchanted Wind, which could be a huge buff. So we got to play this right because it's magic. Magic. We have a free shrine, so let's go. Let's go build that shrine for free. So we have that religion and magic or arcane or whatever. Divine, I think is what it is. So we have one free shrine. Let's place it right there. We're still building the longhouse. Everything else. I think it's still building because of that symbol. Actually, no, we still have. We've spent 14 days. Actually, I think it's the monument that's being built. That's being finished. It should be built by tomorrow. And now we have a shrine. So we're looking pretty good now. We have a new shrine being constructed for free of Erastil, officially of Erastil, but it doesn't say that in the mechanics. So I'm guessing we could upgrade it later into something else, unless it forces us to do so through event. I don't know, I've not gotten that far to have an upgraded settlement. And honestly, I started on an offline game considering what, well, it might have been on the stream too, considering what other settlements are going to be called, because my capital is always Flora. In any game that I play, my capital is always Flora. That is the canonical name that I call my great capital. So, we can build a second city, a second settlement that we can trade with, and I always like the idea of it being on the river. Although it doesn't show what direction the river goes, we have boats and people willing to trade via waterway. So I'm going to build it because of the way it goes. You can only have one settlement per region. Save again. You can only have one settlement per region, such as Flora, our capital here, being in the Shrike region. We're along the lake of Tuskwater, which I kind of wish you could rename that stuff. Shrike region, outskirts region. So the only good spots to me, like realistically for settlement with the amount of natural resources at hand in the outskirts, would be alongside the river here, which connects to which passes by the capital and goes to the lake to the south, and it's in the woods, so you have that lumber. But I've already stated I don't want to do lumber, but obviously you have to like kind of push that under the rug. There's going to be lumber involved. I'm just saying, roleplay wise, I don't want to be a mass producer of mass timber maker in the mechanics of this game, because I do the opposite, which is venerate like forests and stuff like that, like a druid would. You can get a grove in the building trees, as far as I know, which is kind of like a divine thing. It's like a sacred grove or something like that, but you can't have it if you have a lumber yard, because you're chopping everything down, obviously. So resource-wise and trade-wise, the Thorn River seems to be the best setup, and I'm thinking as far as I can put it over here, that way you don't have that overlap of that roleplay overlap of using up resources within the same area. And I put a lot of thought into stuff like this, just looking at the map. It's like, where would you want that city within that region? Because it will become another city. And then you have the North Gnarl Marches. Let's... Can't really look at that because I don't own it. But... there kind of needs to be just a... because I can't do anything to look at it. I can't zoom in or anything. You look at the North Gnarl Marches right here. And that's a different area with different riverways. And I'm thinking... I'm thinking having it on that left river, which does connect to Tuskwater. So it's another river, and it's going to be a wooded area regardless. Probably... probably underneath the NAR on Gnarl Marches, if I'm able to, in that little curve. That might be a good spot. Glenabon, Pitax, those are other nations. Those are other nations. Pitax definitely is, because this is the River Kingdoms. There might be other settlements that I have to take over. I've not gone that far. I've gone on the PC as far as the Commulands and I think Silverstep, with me being able to take over places. But there's a lot of stuff that you have to go through first to do that. But right now we have the outskirts and we have Shrike, and that is really bright on that. It's overpowering. Okay, so we have 2 events. We have a counselor waiting to talk to me about the kingdoms. That's the loyalty, which should be... that should be my... yeah, counselor. That is June. Yeah, because it's Valerie, June, Manias, Pandemona. I don't think I have a Grand Diplomat. No, I don't. My priest is divine, and then the rest of them are not available. So I can get my loyalty to rank 2 already. My military is almost rank 2. Which, if I have more triumphs, it'll raise my military more. And I want my military to be powerful. I don't want to be laughed at by rival lords like I was at the initial crowning. So we have an event, trade taxes. Some half-elf trading fabric in the capital discovered a loophole in the law, which made it possible to avoid paying most taxes. The news spread quickly through the Merchants Guild. Measures should be taken immediately or the Treasury will take a loss. I think Pandemona can handle that. Whether it costs the Alpha an arm or 2. I like how you can also choose to ignore events. So it's going to take her 2 weeks to do that. To press this guy. So, what are we going to name this new settlement as we build it? It's going to cost pretty much all of our BP. Or do we have the BP? We don't. We can name it differently. What river is this? This is Thorn River. I called it something. I called it Thornwood before. I think I really do think I did this last stream. Maybe that, or I did it offline. I was wanting to call it something else. Let me do some thinking. We have the Empire, which uses a lot of Roman style uh, stylized names and armors and stuff like that. Not that I can do that in Pathfinder's game here. I kind of want to name it something Roman, Latin, but I like to think that my empire is multicultural, but mainly my favorite thing to do is Romano British stuff, like ancient Britannia. And I'm trying to think of what some names would be. I can do a quick googly moogly. So one moment, please, while I deal with my indecision for a very simple matter. Let's see. Romano British cities. I really do think I did this last time. I'm having deja vu. I was thinking of Camulodunum, which is the city dedicated to Camulos, the the Briton the Breton god. I'm not gonna name it Londinium. Nope. Londinium's the capital. Flora is my capital, so I'm not gonna name it Londinium, as awesome a name it is. This is a settlement, so I'm not gonna name it after a fort. What that pop was. I think my electronics are playing games with me, guys. I'm not even going to delve into these Welsh names. Just give me a list of... Ugh. I'm trying to look at Roman Latin names for settlements, and it's giving me modern settlements. So it's like Boston, Massachusetts, Bostonia. I was like, what? That's not ancient. All right, let's go back to the name Camulodunum. What does Camulos have to offer me? What is he the god of? Camulus. Deity of the Celts that the Romans identified with Mars. Good so far. Camulus was an important god of early Great Britain. Well, this would be a settlement that is in the woods and it's along a river, so it's going to be dealing with trade. I want my capital to be the center of military institution and anything else that has to do with it. Um, so I don't think I want to name it after a Celtic Brittonic god that is considered Mars or their Zeus. Again, that's very unfair of me to characterize them as Roman gods, but that's just the way it went. So give me some more names. Yeah, the history's fine. I just want names. Towns themselves. Can you give me some names, please? Boss, please. Give me... I know about Londinium. Thank you. Roman towns. I'm trying to make this quick, guys. A name is important. Anything like that's important. How about ancient British cities? How about ancient Breton cities? That'd probably be better. Of course, they've got the common names. There we go. Uh, Arbea sounds cool. Makes me think of arbor, which isn't that what the reference to trees are? Arbor. I may be completely wrong. Da, 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 da. Lactodorum. I mean, these aren't really hitting the spot for me. Yeah, just hit the end of the list. Well, crap. What is Arbea? Well, let's look at our map again. Outskirts starts at the edge of the has the edge of the forest. Gnarl Marches is going to be a marshy, forested area. Like this entire area is like marsh and forest. What if... What is Latin for outskirts? Partem. Greek for outskirts is perikora. Perikora. Perichora. Shutka, inside Macedonia's only Roma-run municipality, a locality on the outskirts of the Macedonian capital, Skopje, is a rare outpost of Roma autonomy and security. Maybe I could base it off of that. Skopje. How do you say that? Suto Orizari. Oh, this is modern. I thought they meant Roma. Okay, so that's what... Yeah, that's the Romani, which are the cultural people. I thought it was ancient Roman history. I'm sorry. Well, I was thinking back to one of my books I'm reading. It's a Roman fiction where Rome has control of Macedon, and the governance of Rome over Macedon hunts in these sacred forests alongside the Macedonian cities. That's what I was thinking this had something to do with, was like anything to do with that. Well, I could call it fringe. So either Parachora or Partum. Spent way too much time on this. I'm sorry, guys. Let's call it Partum. Let's call it Partum. Latin for outskirts, apparently. It's kind of got a flavor to it, you know. Again, I apologize for having taken so long. Let's enter Partum and start its construction. Alright, we're going to start with walls. We have no money whatsoever. I gotta dig into my own pockets for this stuff. What do walls do for us? They add military. We definitely want that. So we need another 16. 16. Get those walls set up. We need our piers, which gives us +1 economy. That's another 25. I don't think we have a watchtower available. We won't have a slot for that. And man, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna build this settlement. For now, let's get an extra 25 BP. Get those piers set up. Alright. I don't want to spend all my money. I'm also trying to be on the adventurer level, upgrading to like bags of holding and stuff like that. So let's save again. We're probably going to actually get out of this map and actually get into the gameplay. What do we got going on? Oh, I gotta wait for it to save, of course. I've got to go to my throne room and talk to my counselor. So we have counselor waiting. We have 7 days for the Enchanted Wind event. And of course, once I talk to the counselor, I'm going to have to spend like a week. I think it's a week long to upgrade to tier 2 loyalty, which indicates the citizens' favor towards the Baron's methods, which seems pretty important. So I got to consider how I'm going to do this, because each thing that I do takes time. I also got stuff to do in town. I got to check out everybody. Kingdom buildings. That's what I was looking for. I'm also trying to plan out another settlement. It's hard being king. Baron. I'm a baron officially, but my name is Emperor Haterius. Your advisor has arrived to report about a recent loyalty development in your barony. And because it's an NPC, she's not going to say anything. Who's this? Yod Kavkin. Your Grace, I was at Oleg's trading post recently, and I noticed old Boken just standing there, bored to death with nothing to do. This is most unfortunate. After all, the old grumbler is a very knowledgeable alchemist. However, he has no use for his skills since the locals need nothing more than the simplest of healing potions. And then it struck me. Why don't you hire him as your court alchemist? His decoctions and tinctures would certainly prove most useful to you. Also, it might be cheaper than simply buying from him or some other merchant. That is a plus. So I leveled up as well. Let's go ahead and save that.
No one stands in my way.
No one stands in my way. Alright. Oh, let's go ahead and look at her level up, shall we? So we have... This is actually where I'm at in my current Pathfinder game, my tabletop game. We leveled up to 5. And I don't have all the options available to me because this is the console version. But I went in my Pathfinder tabletop. My first level was Kineticist. I took a level of Bard Thundercaller. What was the levels? I think I took Bard Thundercaller second level, and then I took Magus Kensai, which is what the Sword Saint's supposed to be on here, but they just called it a Sword Saint, even though that is a samurai thing. So I'm a Kensei, I guess. Kensei, Magus. And then I took one level of Monk, which is the only level I would take. Because I wanted to have the improved unarmed strike, and other stuff like that. And because of my alignment, that just was the best thing for me because mechanically, I would find myself in the tabletop in positions where I could take advantage of people thinking less of me because I'm a scribe, and then I could just wail on them or grapple them or whatever because of a combination of my kineticist electric kinetic fist ability plus the monk, which specifically the monk of the Four Winds, which is not available in this game from me dabbling in an offline game. Monk of the Four Winds is the type of monk that I chose to have the one level drop in, so I can get Elemental Fist, which I would stack with my Kinetic Fist plus my improved unarmed strike from the monk, so I'd get more damage dice for my fists. I would get the electric kinetic fist from my kineticist ability, and then put on elemental fist because that's given to me from Monk of the Four Winds level 1. A lot of stuff there I was trying to stack on that, like I could elementally beat you to death with my fists, or grapple you and just be able to use my hands as weapons at any time because I like being a badass. So I can't do that in this game because they don't have Elemental Fist as far as I know. They have Scaled Fist, which is a dragon. What does the Scaled Fist actually give you? Just gives you a feat. And I don't plan on using my hands in this, because why would I use my hands in this when I've got so many different things? It's easier to manage in a tabletop game versus the video game. I don't think you can even get. You can't even get all of the wild talents, or whatever they're called, that the kineticist gets in the video game. So it's no point in doing that. The only thing I'm getting out of kineticist in this game, in this video game, is the electric blast, which I'm not even going to be able to go full level in because I'm multi-classing so much, because that's just the way I like it. And the elemental type stuff. So I got to consider what I'm going to pick for my one drop, because the way I've got it set up, I'm going to take 7 levels in kineticist, which allows me to get my expanded element, or actually upgrade my picked element, which would be electricity, air electricity. 8 levels Thundercaller Bard, so that's 15. 4 levels Kensai Sword Saint Magus, and then a 1-drop, which I don't see me having any use for. Let's look at what the monk gives you. Of course, the archetypes make it different. They get a bonus feat. Again, I don't grapple. I don't use my fists. Bonus feat. This only applies if I'm unarmored. What does Sensei give me? Gives me an Inspire Courage like a bard. Unarmored. I'm not getting much at all out of this. I might have to pick another class, because I want to represent. This is going to change gameplay for me completely, because I wanted to follow along the path that I'm going to do in my. Because this is my build. This is my build that I made on this game before I started doing it in tabletop, and then I refined it in tabletop, because the tabletop I could have anything that's official. The way it is, and the Pathfinder Kingmaker game does not have all of it. So I'm thinking what my 1-drop's going to be. If anything, I could just put that extra level up into another class that I'm already in, but then I'd feel like I'm not delving too in, like exactly alongside my tabletop game character. But then again, I'm already doing that because I'm not taking the monk. And some of these classes are changed. Like in tabletop, I got an ability from Bard Thundercaller at level 2, which I was excited about. And I looked at the tabletop version. You don't get that. You don't get a favored terrain as an option as a Bard Thundercaller, because you're not a ranger. So I can't have the Highlands in the tabletop version. The Highlands favorite terrain or whatever. So there's... So I want to go 8 levels with the Bard Thundercaller. A Bard with an extra level is usually good because you get more spells. I want to go 4 levels of Magus Kensei, Sword Saint. If I go 1 more level, I could get a bonus Magus feat and Arcane Weapon +2, which is honestly great. 1 point from Arcane Pool. Oh, 1 point from Arcane Pool. As a swift action, to grant any weapon he is holding a +1 enhancement bonus for 1 minute. For every 4 levels beyond first, the weapon gains another +1 enhancement bonus to a maximum of +5. So I can get a +2 to my weapon, which at 5th level, these bonuses can be used to add any of the following weapon properties: Flaming Burst, Frost, Icy Burst, Keen Shock, Shocking Burst, or Speed. I don't think I get to pick those. I don't think, in the video game version. Then again, I've not played that far as a Magus. But I can get a +2 Arcane bonus if I just go ahead and pick that as my final level. But again, I want to have that flavor... Like, stick to what my mechanics are overall as much as I can with the game's lacking of compatibility with the tabletop. It's like attack and buff and whatever abilities that are equatable to the tabletop. I want to stick to that gameplay, so I have the feeling of how I'm going to run my character in the tabletop while having that extra dip in something else. And I was thinking Inquisitor before, but because of my alignment, any Inquisitor stuff that I would do, I have to pick a god for one, which is equal to my alignment, or within 1 shot of my alignment, which is not great because I'm lawful evil. Tactical Leader might be good. What does Tactical Leader give me? Of course, I have to pick one of these really weird gods, or I can go with Abadar, which is the god of law. Not standard Inquisitor. Tactical Leader. What does Tactical Leader give me? A 1-drop in Tactical Leader. I pick a deity. I get orisons, which is like cantrips. Level 0 spells. Domain selection of the deity. I get Detect Magic. Detects magical auras of active spells or artifacts, or of those that were active recently. Can identify the school of magic to which the spell belongs. Useful in dialogues. Ooh, used in dialogues. That might be good. Judgment. I have a judgment ability. Pronounce judgment upon foes as a swift action. Starting when the judgment is made, the Inquisitor receives a bonus to special ability based on the type of judgment. Use this ability once per day. Not great at first level. Leaders' words. Tactical leaders are skilled at speaking soothing words that keep the peace and bolster allies' resolve. A tactical leader receives a morale bonus on all persuasion skill checks when used for diplomacy, equal to half his Inquisitor level, so minimum 1. Overall, pretty good. I'm considering it. I want to say I want to say I already have detect magic. Yeah, Magus has it. Bard Thundercaller has it, so it's not anything new. So the judgments. I could go the route of just adding one to my kineticist, so I'm a little bit more powerful with my kineticist powers, because I think every, let's look at it. That's Thundercaller. Kinetic Blast. 1d6 for every 2 kineticist levels beyond first. So 3, 5, 7. So I get the 3d6. Plus level 8 gives me another wild talent, which overall I don't think matters in the game. Unless they just have a lot blocked off. You know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do kineticist. So I'm more powerful as a kineticist. And let's see where it gets me. So let's do that. I've been trying to get my athletics up so I don't screw up as much. Use magic device is important. Lore nature is important. World is important. So again, another bout of me spending as much time as possible on something that does not matter as much. I mean, it kind of does. It's the class. Because I'm a multi-class and I got to pick this stuff out. I'm not just a one class person. I got to have all of these abilities. Now that I've said that, I'm going to back up and look at something else. Then you got all these things. Don't mind me. There's a Stormwalker class, which I thought about before. Which really I wanted some of the abilities that the Ranger Stormwalker had, which was mainly like teleporting around as a lightning bolt. Favorite enemy? No. Yeah, level 1 Ranger's not going to cut it, so I'm going to do Kineticist. Level 2 Kineticist, like I said. Wait a minute. I can go higher than that. I feel like Athletics is going to be more important to level up. That way we have more of a bonus during stuff like that. So I raised my Persuasion 1 and raised my Athletics by 2. How many points did I have? Oh. Yeah. Oh, pick up a feat. Should probably plug my phone in. So I have... What feats do I have? Can I even look at those? I think I can. Yeah, they're at the top. Feats that I've chosen. Elemental Focus Electricity. Iron Will. Greater Elemental Focus Electricity. So when I get those extra spells in from Bard and Magus that has electrical stuff, it adds +1 to the DC against saving throws when enemies take that stuff. I will say I didn't pick any of those types of feats in my tabletop version of myself. I picked, let's see, Cosmopolitan, which gives you two extra languages, plus something else. I picked What did I pick? Like, my character is a scribe that is from Sarkoris, or at least a Sarkorian tribe. And I wanted to be able to know multiple languages, be diplomatic and stuff like that, but he's also a kineticist because of reasons. And he's multi-classed into Thundercaller Bard, just like this character. Again, this is my build. This is the character I want to run. Thundercaller Bard, and he just took one level of Magus Kensei. And then we leveled up to 5. I think we jumped from level 2 or 3 to 5. And I took a 1-drop into Monk. That way I could have an awesome melee, grapple, and modifier to my kinetic fist that I use from my kineticist, which is a wild talent ability. So, again, on the tabletop version, I plan to use my fists whenever I need to. I have my electric blast, which will level up as I level up further into kineticist, and I have my bardic abilities so I can support the group. And I'm looking at the feats because I can't use heavy armors. I can't. Trying to remember my spell failure thing. I don't think I can go beyond medium at all. I think I have to stick with light, to be honest. Die hard, no. Dodge would be good. Extra performance would be good. Being a bard, I use Lindsay as my main class, my main party bard. So my bardic inspiration is kind of just sitting there. Oh yeah, that's the other feat I took, now that I'm looking at this. The other feat that I took in tabletop version of me was a feat that allows me to switch my wisdom with my charisma for will saves. Which is huge because I'm a charismatic character. Now that I've hit level 5, I'm at a 19 charisma. I just need one more ability score increase, and I'll have a +5. But yeah, like, being a bardic character and wanting to be diplomatic, I put huge stuff into my charisma. I wanted to be kind of a leader type, but not outright saying I'm a leader. This stream has just turned into me gushing about my tabletop version of this character. So there's no... the closest I can get to the weapon that I want to use is a bastard sword in this. I could go... Oh, those are teamwork feats that I can't really use. Spell penetration's huge. That would help my electric blast, so I'm going to probably get that. Yeah, I'm going to get spell penetration. That's huge. Huge! Okay, I get a wild talent this feat. Or this level. See, they always want to throw familiars and summons with any of these subclasses. And it's like, I don't want anything to do with summoning crap. I want to stand alone with my party. Like, I don't want to have, like, pets. I want to have party members that support me. But I also don't want to have pets. The game's not about pet caretaking for me. You want to play an animal handler, a freaking ranger or druid, whatever. Or summoning, like a summoner mage, sure. Necromancer, maybe. These are all the other elements that I don't have access to stuff for. I'm not a kinetic healer, which is water-based. Let's see. The only pets I'm going to have in this game are the 2 pets that I was given for having the definitive edition of this game. That give me those bonuses, and I just equip them. It's not anything I have to take care of or manage in combat. It's literally just that. They're like World of Warcraft pets. They just follow you and give you bonuses. So I don't want to summon stuff. I could get a kinetic bonus feat. Which I probably could use. Or I can choose a skill and get skill focus on it. What can I pick? I could get athletics as a skill focus. That'd be huge. Or persuasion. Like, this could help me gameplay, like, dialogue-wise. Which I want to say isn't my hugest issue in this game, because I could always reload dialogues. Usually I know when there's a dialogue, is what I'm saying, in gameplay. Usually I know I'm going into a dialogue, and I could save scum it, retry it. When there's a skill book, which is usually back-to-back checks, athletics, acrobatics, and other stuff like that are more important for that, because you have different checks and you could screw up so many different times until you finally get them all. Athletics would be great, and it would kind of go into what I wanted to do with my character being able to hold his own, because I'm not going monk officially with this build like the one in monk. Athletics would be a good, I guess, you know, cop-out compromise, because it would help me in skill checks and skill books and stuff that's on the map that you have to climb and things like that. So I'm going to go skill focus athletics as my bonus wild talent. Because I wanted the other one, which was like the electricity resistance, but the way you get that is you have to have burn. Burn is when I use my special abilities and whatnot, and because I don't have those special abilities in this video game version that I would be using constantly, I can't accumulate that burn because I don't want to do it. I've got other options available to me because I'm controlling the rest of the party. It's not the party doing whatever because they're players. It's the party being NPCs that I control. So those are my assets. So I'm just going to take the skill focus, and I'll be better off in the checks from that point on. So I'm at a 12 athletics. 12 athletics. And that's matching my persuasion. That's awesome. And I pick spell penetration, so it helps my electric blast, because spell penetration would apply to electric blasts, or kinetic blasts as they're called. Which is an energy, because I'm an air and I picked electricity, kineticist, my blasts are energy based and it's more magical, while kinetic blasts for earth or wood, or I want to say water too, are physical blasts, while I have energy blast. It's interesting. So I'm 5th level. Let's save. I've done all that crap. Let's save.
I'm losing my temper.
If anything, later I can get a free... I believe I can get a free reset. Alright. I spent a lot of time today just screwing around with my kingdom setup and leveling up. Let's do something. So let's talk to people.
Already.
How may I serve you, Your Grace?
Keston Gares, what did you do to be exiled? I believe I have a right to know.
Fair enough. For a Gares, the prosperity of the house and the honor of the name stands above all else. And I was betrothed to a widow from another noble house. This union was of great importance to the family. However, 3 months before the wedding, I met a commoner girl, gentle and pure, and we fell in love. I would have rather died than leave my Tanya, so I decided to break off the engagement with my noble bride. I could never have expected what would follow. My father was furious. I'd set a pointless love affair above the interests of the house. He expelled me from the family and ordered to leave our lands under threat of death. And Tanya, her mother was seriously ill, and she stayed behind to care for her rather than follow me into exile. Thus, I was on my own, disgraced, without a name, and without love. Don't imagine that I ask for pity. Everyone gets what they deserve.
Huh. If I were to offer you a public position, what job would you like to do?
I believe I can manage to uphold the law. Being a warden would suit me well.
Alright, I'll keep it under consideration. See you later. Lindsay has nothing to say.
How may I serve you, Your Grace?
How are you enjoying your duties as the High Priest?
Everything is all well, Your Grace. I just keep forgetting what a mess it is in the stolen lands, and how troubled are the minds of its people. Sometimes I must listen to such nonsense from my visitors. Erastil, forgive them.
Thank you for the story.
I won't be halted.
Casil Eldori. Elegantly dressed in formal clothes as always, he welcomes you with a courteous half-bow. Your Grace, I need to know more about you. Happy to serve, Your Grace. Casil bows courteously. Tell me of your origins. I grew up alone on the streets of Restov. I know nothing of my parents. It's more than likely that my mother just wanted to be rid of me. Probably left me somewhere in an alley as a baby, and I don't feel I have the right to blame her. I don't remember how I survived. My first memory is of sneaking into someone's backyard. I must have been 3 or 4, and trying to steal food from a cat. He smiles sadly. A half-orc among the Brevik aristocracy is a rare sight indeed. Lady Jamandi Eldori herself brought me into the family. She picked me up off the streets when I was about 14. I was fighting some lord's guardsmen. Their master had expressed his wish in a most inappropriate manner to acquaint me with his female wolfhound in the hopes of producing offspring. Cassiel's lips turn up slightly at the corners, stopping just short of looking sinister. No other sign of emotion crosses his face. I was at what would politely be called a disadvantage when I saw a flashing beam of light reflect off of a lone sword. What happened next was too fast for me to follow, but all three of my torturers fell to the ground, a single woman standing above them. She turned to the Lord and coldly asked him, "And just what is it you're doing in here?" Cassiel speaks almost reverently, genuine awe in his voice. I had never seen a Rostovic noble so afraid, but he was also almost reverent, and this lord was a close companion to the mayor at that. At the time, I had no idea who this woman was, but I couldn't keep myself from rushing after her, well, hobbling really, and pleading with her, "Teach me, please, teach me." "What's it like for you living among humans?" "It isn't easy, Your Grace. I was born and raised in Restov. I don't know a single word of Orc. I devoted my entire life to proving myself worthy to bear the name Aldori, but to most people, I'm still a half-orc first and foremost. Anything else is secondary. It infuriated me when I was younger, but with age, I've learned to accept my fate. To me, I'm simply Cassiel, a street urchin from Restov who became the student of Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori. Nothing more, nothing less." "Thank you. Let's discuss something less personal, if it pleases Your Grace." "I need to discuss politics and affairs of the barony with you." "How may I be of service, Your Grace?" "What's the situation between the Aldori and the royal house Sertova?" Cassiel's face remains impassive, but his speech becomes slower, more deliberate. "The Sertovas and the Aldori are different in nature and spirit. They are as water and stone, a snake and an eagle. When Coral the Conqueror came to our lands, the Sertovas didn't even attempt to defend themselves. They gave up the crown in exchange for positions of power in the new court, along with the safety of their lands. The Aldori went to war and lost. I dare not even say valiantly lost. The damage inflicted on Roslin's armies by the Red Dragons of Coral the Conqueror, well, it was a slaughter, a crushing defeat." A barely noticeable frown darkens Cassiel's face. "Even with 2 centuries of effort, the Aldori and Roslin have yet to fully recover. For 2 centuries we've fought for survival, while the Sertovas have flourished and grown stronger at the sight of the throne. Needless to say, now that King Noleski Sertova and his sister Natala rule over Brevoy, our relationship hasn't improved. The Sertovas fear the Aldori, and the Aldori don't trust the Sertovas. That's the current situation between our houses." "What can you tell me about the river kingdoms?" "In times past, they were little more than a nest of bandits. Frankly, that hasn't really changed." Cassiel frowns disapprovingly. "Of all the kingdoms, Pitax is probably the greatest interest. King Iravetti rose to power too quickly and too easily. I would recommend Your Grace take great caution with him. I have questions on another topic. You must know much of the history of Brevoy and the neighboring lands." Cassiel's eyes light up. "In Restov, I spent nearly as much time studying historical chronicles as I did training with the sword. What would you like to discuss, Your Grace?" "I'd like to hear about the early history of Brevoy." "That's a story written in blood. Aldori blood, mostly. In the beginning, Brevoy was 2 independent lands. House Sertova reigned over Isia, and the Aldori ruled over Roslin. They were not peaceful neighbors. Isia's soil was too poor to sustain its population, and its people were too cruel and proud to simply stand by and watch as their neighbors prospered. I'd be willing to bet that Restov's northern walls still hold a few marks left by Sertova's soldiers during their frequent raids from ages past. It was Koral Rogarvia, later known as Koral the Conqueror, who put an end to all that. He brought each realm to its knees. Only one side knelt willingly. The other ended up first paying a devastating toll. Tell me about the Sword Lords. I could speak for days about the Sword Lords, but I'll try to condense things so as not to bore your grace. Our history goes back to ancient times, when Rosslyn was ruled by Baron Syrian first. He was a notorious squabbler and duelist, but at the time he wasn't as skillful as he thought. After losing a fight against the local gang leader, the Baron was the one who issued the challenge. He went into exile to hide his shame. But that was just the beginning. No one knows where Syrian wandered, but a few years later he returned to Rosslyn a changed man. He challenged the same gang leader to another duel and bested him handily. The Baron then declared an open challenge. Anyone who could defeat him would be rewarded handsomely. After that, not a month would pass without Syrian seeing another challenger. Renowned fighters and experienced warriors came and went, but none, not a single one, could best the Baron. In those years, Syrian took on his new name, Aldori, but many people preferred to call him simply the Sword Baron. So the Baron was the first Sword Lord. The very same. His heirs inherited the secrets of his dueling style, along with the name Aldori. Ever since, the name has been passed down from master to student along with the title Sword Lord. The Aldori are simultaneously a family and an alliance. Sword Lords will usually teach their own children, but many of us were brought in from outside the family. Occasionally, you can even find a half-orc fosterling or two. Casil gives a slight bow. Let's change the subject. You're not general. Why? I'm not going to ask you that. You're not general. Thank you. I've learned what I needed. I don't know why it says, how do you like being general when he's not general? Excuse me.
All this waiting bores me.
All this waiting bores me. I mainly picked that voice for the combat, yelling. Wanted to be an intimidating force. But I wouldn't be yelling about like that all the time. Alright, so we spoke to Casil Aldori. Let's look at our personal stash. If we have anything we want to stick in there. I'm keeping that stuff on me in case something requires, like, story-wise pops up. We're going to put the books. Put the books up. I keep the pickaxe because I don't know why. Again, I don't think I'll ever need this crap. Let's go talk to the elf. Cyclopean coin. Didn't want to grab that.
No one stands in my way.
Long live the Baron.
Onwards.
Storyteller. The man standing before you resembles an elf, but a very old one. His face is wrinkled, and his beard is as white as mountain snow. The man seems to be completely blind. The old man stares past you with unseeing eyes. He seems to be consumed in his thoughts. He mutters a soft melody, swaying back and forth slightly to its rhythm. The man shudders briefly and stops singing. His mouth opens and closes a few times, bringing to mind a fish brought ashore. Ah, who is there? Is that you, your grace? How could you tell it was me? The old man smiles slightly. It is not so hard to recognize a ruler by the way he walks. No one in here steps as confidently as you, your grace. Who are you? I'm an elf from Keonan. My name is not important. I am the storyteller, collector of stories. I collect unknown legends of ancient times. The man smiles, but it doesn't seem to be directed toward you. Long ago, I was a smith in Keonan. The fire of the forge has burned out my eyes, but I am grateful for it. If I could see, I would yet forge suits of armor for Iodara's guards. Instead, I have stepped on the path of an adventurer and gatherer of ancient legends. The old man ponders silently for a moment. Many peoples are long dead, their homes crumbled to dust, and their bodies turned to ash. Only legends can still tell us of their triumphs and defeats, their joys and fears. I would be so interested to hear the stories told about us after our demise. I have always been drawn to the Stolen Lands, where countless expeditions, armies, and even kingdoms have met their untimely ends. When I learned of a new barony being founded in the heart of these lands, I knew I wanted to be part of its story, so I made the journey here. Are you really an elf? Do other elves age like you have? A common question. Despite my unusual looks, I am an elf. And an old one, yes. Perhaps older than any other elf in Keonan. However, I doubt my age alone is responsible for my appearance. I keep the stories of many people and races, some forever gone from the face of Golarion. But they live on in my memory and my heart. When I accept a new story, I lock it within myself, bearing the weight of its words and the emotions they invoke. I sometimes think that I probably should have died long ago, but some incomprehensible force is keeping me alive and granting me the ability to continue my quest to gather stories, be it divine power or fell curse. I am grateful either way. Alright, would you care to trade stories with me? The man's voice rustles like autumn leaves. I am a collector, not a trader. If I share a story with you, you receive the power to pass it further, changing or embellishing it, whether willingly or not. Can I be certain you will keep my stories intact in their absolute purity? The storyteller ponders for several moments. No, I do not think so. At least, not yet. These legends are the most precious valuables of this world, the last remnants of ancient tribes. They are beacons illuminating the way to the past, allowing us to meet generations long gone. I cannot let their light fade. The path to the past must not be lost. The old man thinks for a moment, then continues, But I can offer you a deal, your grace. If, on your journeys, you discover items that come from eras past, bring them to me. And if my eyes can see the stories that these relics hold, I will gladly share them with you. And if you find all the pieces of any ancient artifacts, I can even recall my smithing skills to unite them and restore their power. Remind me what you want me to do. In your travels, pay special attention to items from ancient eras. There must be an abundance of such things throughout the Stolen Lands, for these lands remember stories of the rise and fall of many kingdoms. And if you find all the pieces of any ancient artifacts, I can even recall my smithing skills to reunite them and restore their power. I found the shards of an ancient artifact. Can you restore it for me at the anvil? May I? The storyteller gently touches the items from your pack. This scorched piece of metal is part of a curious artifact known as the Necklace of Double Crosses. Inside it, I sense a story of many deeds, not heroic, but low and maleficent. If you find all 7 of its fragments, I will be able to restore the artifact and recount its inglorious story. The storyteller finishes his inspection. Remember me, should you find anything noteworthy. I've brought some relics. Are any worthy of a story? The storyteller's eyebrows raise. How interesting. May I, your grace? He gently touches the items from your pack. A coin from a non-existent country. When Corel the Conqueror mastered Rostland, having claimed it for Brevoy, he prohibited the issuance and use of such coins. Both ordinary folk and the Aldori swordlords were required to use new coins, decorated with Corel's profile, but no one was quick to be rid of these prohibited coins. Oh no. In many houses, they still store boxes and whole chests of such coins, waiting for the day when Rostland declares its independence. And he gave me 3,200 gold for the ancient Rostlandic coin. Any of those that I have. The storyteller's fingers caress the symbol shaped like a tree leaf. And what is this? I hear the voices of trees, smell the scent of fresh leaves. A dryad mark, is it not? I would be happy to purchase it from you. I got 2,700 for any of those tokens of dryad I have. The storyteller idly toys with an ancient plain-looking coin. What was the name of the Caloran ruler who issued this coin? Does anyone remember now? What did the Cyclopes use it to purchase? Food? Books? Weapons? Perhaps someone's life? Or their freedom? Who can say? Its history was erased by the Earthfall, but I will buy it from you for significantly more than it was worth in its own time. 400 gold coins for the ancient Cyclops coin. The storyteller weighs the soldier's tag in his palm. A soldier does not ask where the banners of war are headed. He or she goes to battle, dies, and leaves it to others to decide whether the cause was just. This tag belonged to one of the many warriors who helped establish the glory of the Taldan Empire. If you would permit me, I would gladly purchase it from you. And I got 1,200 gold coins for any of the tags, dog tags that I have. Ah, the belongings of brave heroes who performed their feats here before you. I sense you would be interested to hear their story, but there are too few of them here for me to recount it yet. Please find all 5 of them. I'm sure you won't regret the time you spend in the search. The storyteller finishes his inspection. Remember me, should you find anything noteworthy. I need a wise advisor at my court. Would you like to serve me in matters of state? The storyteller's voice grows soft. Thank you for your words. I am unlikely to be able to interpret the intricacies of the political world or the affairs of the treasury, but my advice regarding the magic of arts would be useful to any ruler. So he'd be interested in being a magical advisor. I'll leave you to your legends until we meet again. Storyteller doesn't answer, his unseeing eyes staring ahead blankly. So I have pieces of artifacts
You follow.
that I need to collect more of. So let's put those away so they don't take up space. So he bought off all my coins and my dryad marks. So I need one more piece of that one artifact. Okay.
Battles await.
So I made some moolah. Let's save. I gotta call it soon too.
I'm losing my temper.
As much as I'd love to continue. Let's see.
We do it my way.
Let's head into town.
Let's move already.
We're not going to pass days. We're going to go to the capital square. We're going to talk to people there. Let's actually go find Casey.
All this waiting bores me.
Oh, this waiting bores me. That's great for the load screen,
Hello,
yes.
my savior. You asked if we'd meet again, and here I am.
A savory aroma of herbs and flowers is the first thing that lets you know that your longtime acquaintance is here. The nymph looks at you in a strange way, like she's never looked at you before.
I see your fate has changed since last we met. Now you are the ruler who will determine the destiny of these lands. I am their living heart, the whisper of the wind, the strength of rivers, the luxuriant growth of the meadows. Do you wish to touch this power? I will show you a place where we can finally meet in flesh, you and I. Deep in the woods, there is an old mossy ruins, long abandoned, nearly swallowed by the thicket. There is an old tree growing among the stones in the yard, which I remember as a seed. A shadow under its green crown I call my verdant chambers. Visit me there, my lord, and come alone. A nymph's reward awaits you.
I don't need any reward. Seeing you is the best reward for me.
Then come to my chamber and be my guest. We'll share stories and laughter, imagine the future, and dream. So long, I will await you there, as the ground waits for spring under the heavy winter snow.
In defeating the Stag Lord, we not only completed the Outdoors task, but saved a beautiful nymph, the guardian of the bloom, who no one besides our daring leader had seen. A well-deserved reward awaits our hero. Meet the nymph in her verdant chambers. The nymph suggested the Baron set off to her chambers, an old tree growing inside the ruins in the middle of the woods. She didn't invite anyone else. Looks like the nymph is only interested in offering her reward to the Baron. Oh, I don't like this suggestion. If I were in the Baron's shoes, I'd definitely stock up on invisibility potions or some other means to avoid trouble.
No one stands in my way.
That is a fair suggestion.
I won't be halted.
And honestly, with that, I think I'm going to end it. I want to thank you guys for watching. We'll pick this up again here in the next day or so. Honestly, I have been more interested in continuing my Pathfinder game than anything else this week. So we will check this out again and see how I go from this moment on. Because we have missions going on the kingdom map, and we also have some quests that we have to go on in person. So, all right. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been Emperor Haterius playing Pathfinder Kingmaker on the PS4. Hope to see you guys in the next stream. Take care.